Hey, what's up, homies? Welcome back to another episode of Get Home Safe, and it's been it's been a while. So I'm here today to talk about mental health emergencies. This week, a friend of mine who I haven't seen in a while hit me up because they had a friend that was going through a mental health emergency. Now, what dictates a mental health emergency? Most folks are like, a mental health emergency is usually like someone was dealing with suicidal ideations, someone was having an episode, someone was having a breakdown. In this mental health emergency, the person who was the emergency was having a slow downward spiral. They weren't sure of who they've had to be in their lives. They weren't sure if they needed to be here anymore. And when I got the call about what was going on, there were a lot of mixed reviews, but I was proud that my friend was able to pick up the phone and reach out to me, and we handled the situation as best as we could. Now, the reason that I'm here today is because I realize there's going to be a lot of moments that we are in a mental health emergency when it comes to a friend, a family member, or a stranger. And sometimes the best advice you can give is, do you have a plan of action if you ever get that call? Whether you're a professional, whether you're an advocate, whether you're just an ordinary person, on how to handle a situation. And if you don't have access to a phone, you don't have access to 911, or you don't have access to any of the alternative numbers to have someone reach out and try to mediate the situation, do you know how to handle a person in a mental health emergency and what that looks like? When I got the call, I asked 2 to 3 questions that I think were really important to the situation. My first question is, what is the person talking about exactly? And the reason this is important is because in the work that I do when it comes to mental health outreach, wellness outreach, and creating better environments for people, you're going to get a lot of phone calls. And I've gotten a lot of phone calls. I've gotten certain calls that were emergencies. I've gotten certain phone calls that people may have been too late. By the grace of God, those situations never played out all the way. And I've gotten phone calls that were built on, we're here now and we're going to do the best that we can. And the reason this is important is there's a large misunderstanding in what can I do for the person after the person has been taken care of. Is there more that I can do, or do I just leave it outside of my hands and let the professionals or the people that deal with that on the regular deal with it? Or do I do research, reach out back out to the right folks and do what I can do? In this case, the person was an emergency from the standpoint that yes, they were spiraling, but they were comfortable enough with everyone to let them know what was going on, let them know the source of their anger, let them know the source of their disappointment, and also let it be known that they needed help, and that at that moment there wasn't a preference on what help looked like, but any help was better than no help at all. So friend stepped to the side, called me, said, hey, can you pull up? I couldn't. It was an off time. I was busy doing something. And after that question of what were they talking about, which was very important because you need to inquire about a situation. What's the information? What's going on? What is the concern? Are they looking to attempt, or are they simply spiraling and we still have a chance to catch them? We still have a chance to hold their hand while they're on the way down. We still have a chance to slow things down and maybe add. They may be in a position to add to their perspective and see that there's a different light at the tunnel. My next question to my friend was, all right, since this is what they're talking about, what have they done so far? They described to me the situation. They described to me what's going on, and I let them know That, if that is what's going on, is out of my wheelhouse, because what we do here at Get Home Safe as mental health and wellness advocates is we build better environments for people that are going through hard situations. We give people the advice to build better environments for themselves, whether it be removing certain folks from their lives if they're able to. If they're not able to do that, give them phone numbers to other departments that may be able to give them resources to change their situations. If they're not able to do that, what are certain things that they can do to cope with the situation that they're in right now? Or what are other moments or suggestions that we can provide to remove them from whatever the, let's say, bad situation is, whether it be the person, the living situation, or not liking where they are in life right now. Right now, due to the weight of what I thought the emergency was at first in the first convo compared to where it is now, two very different places. But an emergency is an emergency. And what I've learned when it comes to this work that I do with mental health outreach is, if I treated every call or every reach out like a forest fire, I wouldn't have any water left to put out fires. I wouldn't have any more people left to be able to answer the phones to help us out when things have hit the fan. And I wouldn't have enough of me to help the next person that would be an actual emergency versus someone that needs our help and we have time and we can work through things. The third question that I asked is, when would this person be available next? Because I'd like to reach out to them to sit down and talk. When it comes to mental health emergencies, especially as a mental health advocate, I tend to try to not put myself in position to sit down and mediate things. I'd like to feel it out, but because this is a personal friend, because it's someone who's known me for quite some time, and they also understand where my work comes from and what I'm willing to do, I knew that if they called me about an emergency, it is an emergency, whether I may think it's not. So the next day I pulled up. I reached out to the person. I pulled up to where they worked, and I was lucky that they had a good relationship with my mutual friend, and where they worked actually allowed me to sit down and talk with them one-on-one for about an hour and 20 minutes. In that hour and 20 minutes, I explained to this person that I'm here for them, but I'm a stranger. So we're going to be slowly building up a relationship between each other. If they didn't want a relationship with me, that's fine. If they do want a relationship with me, that's fine. But I'm as available as they would like for me to be, but I would consistently make stops whenever I can to talk, to inquire, to see what's going on. Where are they? Were they a real emergency at the moment? Because that's outside of my wheelhouse, and I'd have to connect them with better folks that would better handle that situation. Turns out they weren't the emergency that I thought they were, or that was told to me, but they were pretty close. And I caught them at the right time because that phone call was made. I called them at the right time because I asked all the right questions. I called them at the right time because my friend who reached out to me had a better understanding about their situation and what was going on than I did. And me being who I am, and I'm only one man, I did the best that I could, and I rolled up. I've built a relationship. We don't text, this person and I, but we've seen each other face to face. I've made it a point to remember the things that they told me. I've made it a point to, okay, let's set goals for you and see how that works as you go out to get help. On my way coming back home tonight, their girlfriend let me know that they're getting therapy. Right now, they found a therapist who's a good fit for them. And a therapist isn't always going to be the solution, but to go from someone who's spiraling out of control about a week ago to 5 to 6 days later, being able to get a therapist, 5 to 6 days later, taking my suggestions seriously and applying it to their lives, to 5 to 6 days later, their girlfriend and their partner applying the things that I said and them taking it seriously. Sometimes mental health is being as available as you're able to be and being a person of your word. When it comes to outreach, when it comes to looking out for the community, and when it comes to putting this together, there's a lot of moments that you're not going to get it right. There's a lot of moments you're going to get it wrong, but for the people that care, I'm able to do what I'm able to do because there's people who care. I'm able to do what I'm able to do because there's people who are concerned. We are able to do hopefully the best that we can because we understand that you're not going to get a chance to do this again. So I say this to say, when it comes to reaching out to me for emergencies, there's a capacity in which I can function and I can't function, but I'm very honest and forthcoming about what I can do and what I can't do. When it's out of my wheelhouse, I put folks in contact with the right people and we check in as best as we can, and we look to build better environments for those people. If it is within my wheelhouse, I check in and I meet them face to face and I chat and I let them know I'm not the therapist. I'm not the wellness person. I could connect you with the people and I could sit down and listen to you and make suggestions off of my limited knowledge, which will work for you, but you have to believe in the things that you're doing. You have to believe that these steps will work for you. And one of the scariest things to say to someone who's in that state of mind is, there's a chance you may not get it right, and there's a chance that things may not turn out well, but are you willing to at least give effort towards the direction that may help you out? It's a really big maybe game when it comes to mental health, when it comes to getting this right, when it comes to helping others. And we spend a lot of time doing research, and I spend a lot of time hopefully connecting with the right people that will one day help the people around me be better for themselves, better for people that are in the room with them, and better for folks that they care about. This year I haven't gotten that many mental health emergencies, but the ones that I have gotten, I've made it a point to really take it as seriously as I can and working within my capacity. And the only reason I'm able to do the work that I'm able to do is because I understand who I am and who I'm not. Now, with that being said, I know the month of September is coming up and a lot of folks are going to feel for what happens in September. It's Suicide Awareness Month. There's a lot of folks who've lost a lot of people to that, including myself. And I remind people that just because you've gone through loss doesn't mean that you now owe the world something, or you owe the next person something, or you have to do the best that you can to make sure that it doesn't happen to other people. That's a different cross and a different burden. And don't volunteer for yourself for that if you're not ready. Don't step in to help others, not realizing that sometimes help means it's not about what you do today or tomorrow, but it's about what you're willing to do a couple of years down the road. When it comes to mental health and wellness and reaching out to the community and caring for others, you're going to have a lot of strangers who are going to view you as their lifeline, and you have to be able to take that seriously. And sometimes you have to have a big heart, and sometimes you don't have to have a heart in the process, but you do have to care, and you have to be empathetic to what's going on. And you have to be concerned, and you have to try. You have to remember what trying looks like. You have to remind yourself of what empathy looks like. You have to talk to yourself and remind yourself that people deserve this chance. And the reason you're getting the phone call to people, the reason people are reaching out, and the reason folks would like you to help is because they are fighting for the person and the people who are here because they understand that you don't get those people back once they're gone. So if you have someone that's going through something, if you have someone that you're worried about, let us know. We'll see what we can do. If you don't, hopefully everyone has learned something from a lot of the content that we've made. Usually I'd like to end on a really positive note, but honestly, I'm just glad I was able to wake up and answer that phone call and take care of what we needed to take care of when that time came. I've missed a lot of phone calls in this work that I've done, and you don't get to smother guilt on yourself like lotion. Do the best that you can. Pray for those that you're not able to, and understand when the opportunity comes, do the best that you can, and understand who you are and who you're not. We all have a very long way to go, but I'd like to just end this on good job. Good job to everyone who's trying. Good job to everyone who's tried. And good job to those that are fighting. Some people are going to give up and some people aren't, but at one point you tried. So I know this is very impromptu, but I'll see you homies later. I need to appreciate the beauty in this world without making it mine. To pick a flower, I suggest that you keep this in mind. Happiness comes right from within, so take a breath and take your time now.